Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's Pow Day. Dude, let's go.
Ropaint.com is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. It's Coach Leon Rice and Andy Rowe.
Oh no. Want to just paint my house?
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust Ropaint.com to get that job done right.
Get ready for the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's newest destination for fun, featuring the world's biggest poolside tailgate party with 3 levels of action, 6 pools, and a 143-foot screen. The fun is always on deck with all the games all year long. Stadium Swim, located in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Book the time of your life today at circalasvegas.com.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Monday to you. Mike Prater, how many presidents can you name? How many are there? I don't even know.
I think we're at 46 or 47, somewhere in that area, and I could probably name 4.
Well, we're thankful for all of them because at least on the radio show side, you get a day off today. But President's Day, still a work day here at BNN, so we wanted to make sure we get Prater's appearance in here. Nobody can go an extra week without hearing from Mike Prater, so we had to make sure we got this appearance in. Mike, appreciate you at your home for making this happen today. You guys did get no show today at KTIK, but you were willing to come on there from the Prater home office, so we truly appreciate that. We got a great show today. We're going to talk here for the next 25 minutes or so, football, basketball, and then 9:30 or so, Leon Rice scheduled to jump on live, and we talk some all things Boise State with Coach Rice ahead of the game tomorrow, and Boise State now in a 3-way tie in the loss column for first place. Could be in sole possession of second or even a tie for first tomorrow based on who wins the San Diego State-Utah State game. So we'll get into the standings. We'll get into all of that stuff coming up. But, Mike, always appreciate, as I said, on a Monday, you jumping on. We'll take folks' comments in the ICCU YouTube chat. Always fun to take the questions and comments that folks may have. It is I'm wearing the hat today. It is a Blue and Orange Store Monday here on Bronco Nation News. So appreciate Travis Hawks and company. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Make sure you check them out. Free shipping, any order over $40 for all your Boise State gear. And this is their Capital 11 logo as part of their investment group there. So Travis and David Gardner, the whole crew, hooked me up with the blue and orange hat. I see you wearing your Andy Rowe paint hat as well. Look, I just called Andy this morning, so talking a little business. So appreciate everybody for checking us out. I think I have all the immediate sponsor reads out of the way. Oh, we're in the Cutwater Studios, by the way. Don't forget that. More than 35 flavors. A little early on a Monday, but I'm sure later today, it's a holiday. Folks will be getting after the Cutwaters. So Cutwater Spirits, more than 35 flavors. Make sure you check one out at your local gas station or grocery store. Mike Prater, you have a column up on Spencer Danielson. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's start basketball, go football, and then come back to basketball with Leon. The timeliness, I think, right now of the game on Saturday. I mentioned the game tomorrow. We saw you. You were there. You were in there for the post-game press conferences on Saturday. Boise State, a nice 24-point win over Fresno State. I know Fresno State's depleted, but for as bad as Boise State looked at, those 2 road games, Colorado State, Utah State, I think that bye week really refreshed them, recharged them, and that was hard to find not a lot not to like. And I know I get it, the opponent, Fresno State, but they did not only what they were supposed to do, but based on the point spread and all that, did more than they were supposed to do, taking care of business against Fresno on Saturday to get back on track.
You know, I saw your boy Matt Boucher right before the game, and as typical, he was very, very nervous about this game. He said, this is going to be a tight one. This is going to be a tough one. I said, Boucher, I think even you can enjoy this one. Even you're not going to get in trouble at this game. And he says, I don't know. And it did turn out to be a blowout. Ironically, a 24-point victory, and Boise State's leading scorer, Tyson Degenhardt, who's playing as well as anybody right now, maybe one of the best 4-game stretches of his career. He scored 24 points. Tyson Degenhardt, once again, is your difference maker. And I would imagine we're going to talk a little Tyson Degenhardt as well today.
They're saying your audio is a little low, Mike. I don't think we have a choice for that, so I'll turn mine down a little bit and we'll even it out. As we said, Mike's at home. We can never please everybody, Mike. You're doing what you can. Don't worry about it. You're on your earphones there. I will just turn mine down and we'll even it out. How about that? So turn your audio up if you're watching the show. I just turned myself down a little bit, but as we said, Prater's from home. We're doing the best we can. So it's President's Day. Get off us here, folks. We're trying here, Crash Helmy. We're doing the best we can. So I can start
screaming. I can start screaming louder.
You're fine. It's not on you. You're perfectly fine, Mike. So the other nice thing is you mentioned Tyson Degenhardt, 24 points, and we should talk about him. I think he's scoring over 20 points in like 4 of the last 7 games. He's really come on here of late, but 12 of 14 from the foul line too. He was really aggressive, got to the lane. That was a career high in free throw attempts for him, but nobody, and when you get fouled, you're taking a shot, but they don't count it as a shot. So Tyson Degenhardt technically took more than 10 shots, but the official stats say he only took 9 shots. So the overall stats, Omar Stanley, 8 shots, Tyson Degenhardt, 9 shots, Chibuzo Abo, 9 shots, Max Rice, 7 shots, Roddy Anderson, 6 shots. Very balanced distribution of the ball. Tyson was obviously a little bit ahead, as I said, all the free throws, but 4 guys in double figures. You had Abo and Max Rice each hit 3 threes. You had Omar with 17 points. I mean, that was one of the more balanced games in terms of getting several contributors there as well.
Even at halftime, I looked at halftime of the box score at halftime of the game, and all the big 4 all had double digits at halftime as well. So not only was this balanced for the entire game, they came out and they were very balanced. It's almost like they had a mission and a plan to spread the wealth a little bit. And the big 4 really played well. I thought it was a really impressive performance, spreading the ball and everybody taking their turns, and even some support. I know that there's always been talk about some support in the bench guys, but they got a couple minutes out of Keene, a couple of mentions out of a couple of other players. And I thought it was like the perfect Saturday afternoon. I love the time. I love the energy in the game, in the building for a really sleepy basketball game or a really sleepy opponent, and very business-like effort. And Boise State played really, really well. So I would imagine we're going to see the same against San Jose State tomorrow night. We'll get more into that a little bit later, but Boise State's kind of in a groove right now, and I like where they're sitting.
11,595 was the announced attendance. The third deck was had a lot of people in it, and the marketing department at Boise State deserves a lot of credit. But also, I think fans are. It's proven now that fans are buying in here. Mike Prater.
It's far the most consistent I've ever seen Boise State basketball. And I went to the game on Saturday with the wife, and the wife said, and she's a big basketball fan, and she's been going to Boise State basketball games with me since the day she moved here about 12, 13 years ago. And she goes, I can't believe how different it is here as opposed to when I first started coming, where you weren't quite sure if there was going to be 6,000 or there was going to be 10,000 or it was going to be announced at 10,000 with 6,000 in the seats. Very consistent now. It's very consistent. There's scattering of single seats all over the place, and that's always going to be that way. But the crowds, even for a crappy opponent like this, are consistent. And there's 10,000, 11,000 plus in there every single night. And I think it's really cool. It's a testament to what Leon Rice has built. The postseason results and the slow growth and all that stuff that I keep picking on and talking about all the time, that still exists. But it's from point A to point B, this basketball program under Leon Rice has done fantastic things.
They have, no doubt about it. And I want to bring the Mountain West standings up here on the screen right now, Mike Prater, if I can do this here. Give me one quick second. Boise State, as I said, in the loss column now has 4 losses. They are now tied with Utah State and San Diego State in the loss column. I've always said this, Mike, you can't make up losses, but you can make up wins. So I know Boise State is a half game back, but they can make that up with a win. So I worry about the loss column. And so I essentially think it's a tie for first place, the way I look at it. And it's on the screen here. You've got those 3, and then you've got New Mexico, Colorado State, Nevada. And again, we talked about this stretch, Mike. I've been saying it on this show for a couple of weeks now. Like, even after those 2 losses that were really tough last week, like, I saw what was coming, and Boise State has these easier games on the schedule here, and now all the other teams are playing each other and having to beat each other up. Like, tomorrow night, you've got a couple of big games this week, but tomorrow night, to start with, you've got Utah State and San Diego State there in Logan. So one of those 2 teams is guaranteed to lose and drop to 5. Now, if San Diego State were to win that game, and I think you want to be a San Diego State fan tomorrow if you're a Boise State fan, if San Diego State wins, then all of a sudden Boise State is the number 1 seed in the conference tournament as of right now, because they would be tied with San Diego State and they beat San Diego State. So, there's a scenario, Mike Prater, where I'm doing my post-game show tomorrow night, and Boise State's the number 1 seed in the conference tournament. If it were to go that way, where Boise State wins and San Diego State wins, Utah State win would make it tougher because their schedule is not as hard down the stretch. San Diego State still has to go to UNLV. Still has Boise State coming to town. And then the other game I want to mention quickly, Mike, is you have New Mexico and Colorado State on Wednesday. So New Mexico and Colorado State tied with 5 losses right there in that 3-4-5 area. They play on Wednesday there at New Mexico. So the top 5 teams, 4 of them are playing each other, and then Boise State gets to play the 10th place team. So another opportunity the next couple days for Boise State to improve its standing here.
And it's such a crazy Mountain West race. At one point, we were talking about kind of 4 or 5 teams bunched together. Now I think you can look at like 7 teams bunched together. I mean, you laid out the top half of that conference really, really well. But, 1 loss here, all of a sudden you're like in 7th place. That's how deep and competitive this conference is this year. There's no way they're getting 7 into the NCAA tournament. I believe the conference record is 5. The wish list is 6. And even if that somebody drops out and you get 5 into the NCAA tournament, that's pretty spectacular. So Boise State's jockeying and doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. It's in a really good position right now, considering it lost a couple of those games. And if they can take advantage of the schedule that we keep talking about here over these next couple of weeks, they're going to be really, really good shape going into the tournament in Vegas. So I expect Boise State to take care of business tomorrow night, and we'll see what happens over these next couple of games. But and that Utah State-San Diego State game tomorrow night, that's going to be a blast. I think that's a CBS Sports Network game, and that's a classic Mountain West first place showdown as we approach March.
Yeah, Utah State, San Diego State Tuesday. You got New Mexico, Colorado State Wednesday. Some more good games this week. I'm a little nervous about the Saturday Boise State at Wyoming game. That's a trickier game than people think. Just to chalk it up as a guaranteed win, I think would be a little bit naive. I mean, they've already beaten Colorado State and Nevada in Laramie. They were up 10 on Utah State before giving that away last week. So that's going to be a very tough game. But on paper, Boise State should be able to win that game, and then they're at Air Force too. So these next 3 games, Boise State should be able to win and should be in no worse than a tie for first place, if not in sole possession of first place when New Mexico and Nevada come to town. And again, Mike, I understand that it's a slim margin, but I want to pull up the KenPom projections here, which I know Mike Prater loves on a President's Day morning, me busting out the KenPom reference. I'm going to go, let's see if I can switch the screen here to that just to kind of give folks an idea. All right, here's the KenPom projections. Now, the New Mexico game is only a 1-point win, and it's 51-49. But you look at the analytical projections, Boise State favored to win their next 5 games here before they finish up at San Diego State. So if they're able to win these next 3, they'd be 20-8. They'd be in no worse than a tie for first place with New Mexico and Nevada coming to town. That New Mexico game's at 6 p.m. on a Saturday, and if they're on a 4-game winning streak, I mean, that could be quite the evening at Extra Mile Arena. Kind of a bad beat. The Nevada senior night game is at 9 p.m. For TV purposes, but if you look at it here, Mike, and they win their next 6 games, like they're going to go to San Diego State potentially. I mean, the scenario is there, and I don't know. It's asking a little much to say they're going to beat New Mexico and Nevada. Maybe you drop one of those, which means you have to win the next 3. But either way, there's a scenario here where they're going to San Diego with either sole possession of first place or a split of first place. I mean, there's going to be a ton on the line, but you'd like to make it not really matter. Like, you'd like to somehow have it wrapped up before you go to San Diego State. I don't know if that's going to be possible based on the remaining schedules, but I guess, or in my rambling way to say this, I mean, it looks like the opponents are there. The possibility is there for Boise State to really finish strong here, Mike, and either win the league, finish near the top of the league, and certainly solidify themselves in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. And I'm a little bit worried about, like you said, that Wyoming game on Saturday, a trap game here and there. If Boise State wins the games that it's supposed to win, and Wyoming, even if it's a little bit of a pesky game, that's a game that they should win, need to win, have to win. So if they can get through that, I don't mind a loss at the end of the season with one of those opponents, maybe even two, depending on how you can break it all down. It'd be nice if Boise State could win a regular season conference title, but I don't think that that's important. And I don't want to see them wasting too much energy into focusing on that. If you can get a top 1, 2, 3, certainly the top 5 seed is the most important thing here. And I think that that's almost a given here, because that gives you the first round bye and gets you comfortably into the tournament. So, but chasing those victories and not losing the games you're supposed to. So Wyoming, there's no doubt tomorrow's going to be a no-brainer. The trip to Wyoming, that's the first scary game coming up right now, if you ask me.
We got some San Diego State fans infiltrating the chat here. Aztec fan here, looking forward to the senior night game. Could decide the conference. Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, the NC. I know I still put a lot of value on the conference title. I know you maybe don't, Mike. Some people don't. A lot of people don't, actually. But I still think, like, if you win the conference in this league, that's going to translate to getting a good seed in the tournament and things like that. And as the Taylor family says, if they run the table, they're going to have a great seed. We want an NCAA tournament win. And yeah, you look at a lot of these projections and things, like, you want to be above. I mean, it's kind of common sense, but if you're 8 or above, you would theoretically be favored in the game. 9 and below, you're facing a team that you're not expected to win. So that's certainly the ultimate goal, right, Mike? To make this season the super team references, all that, to pay off for Leon Rice. They just got to win one game in the tournament, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's my expectation, and that's been my expectation from day one. And I know this basketball season's been up and every basketball team goes through ups and downs. It's a long, crazy season. It's more intense in many ways than a football season. Certainly the competitive nature of the Mountain West this year. So even me, as negative and dark as I've been about this basketball program in the past, when they lose a couple of games, I don't really worry about it. Just keep yourself in a position, play good basketball at the end. I was very impressed with what I saw on Saturday, and I have a lot of confidence in this team moving forward. I just need the one victory in the NCAA tournament. That's all I care about. I really, truly do. If they get 5th in the Mountain West tournament and go on a run and then get into the NCAA tournament and win a game, I just think that that's one bugaboo that's really bothering this program right now. Get that one win in the NCAA tournament. And I think that this fan base would explode over the success of this program, especially depending on roster retention and how the offseason goes. Next year's team on paper could be better than this year's team on paper. And that leads me to a lot of hope and optimism going into next year.
No doubt about it. You do look here. This is from Bracketologist. They have a website here, Mike, that kind of does all the quad system and divvies all this up in terms of your NCAA tournament resume. Boise State already with 5 quadrant 1 wins, and a lot of people get hooked up on the net in some of these numbers, but how you do in the quadrant system is a huge deal when it comes to the tournament. And last year, Mike Prater, Boise State only had 3 quadrant 1 wins all of last season, and they still ended up with that, what were they, in the 8-9 game last year with 7-10, I guess, with Northwestern. They were a 10 seed, and they've already got 2 more quadrant 1 wins than they had last year. They have more opportunities for that to come. Certainly in the conference tournament, they'll have some opportunities of that, but 7-7 in the first 2 quadrants is nothing to be sad about or write home about. That's a very strong number. 7-7 in the first 2 quadrants. That one UNLV loss in quadrant 3 is kind of the only one, but I don't even think that a lot of people are looking at that as some horrible loss based on what UNLV has done and the talent they have, if you look at it from that standpoint. So overall, the metrics are pretty good. I think at this point, Mike, as long as they can avoid the ugly loss to a San Jose or an Air Force or a Wyoming, I think they're in really strong position to get to the tournament. And then now it's about improving that seed and doing what they can, as you said, to make history and try to get that goose egg off of the schneid. So tomorrow night, San Jose, you got our Tim Miles coming to town. We'll see. They had one of their main players out on Saturday, the point guard, Cardenas. We'll see if he's back or not. I'm actually efforting to get Tim Miles on BNN, record something later today, and hopefully get him on tomorrow on the pregame show. We'll see if we can get that done. But 8:30 tomorrow, I do have 4 tickets to give away. The Raines family tickets we cannot use them tomorrow night. A little late for the kids. And so if you would use 4 tickets tomorrow and you would make a lot of noise and have a good time and you don't get to go to a lot of games and you're willing to go at 8:30, send me an email, rains@bronconationnews.com, and whoever is the first one, I'll get you the tickets and we'll be happy to send you there courtesy of the Rains family. Mike, let's take a quick timeout. Leon Rice is going to join us in about 10 minutes, but I do want to touch on your column with Spencer Danielson. So let's take a quick 90-second timeout. Thanks some of our great sponsors. We'll talk football here next, and then Leon Rice joining us in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU, and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. All right, back live again on a Blue and Orange Store Monday here on Bronco Nation News. We're supporting the Blue and Orange Store, Capital 11, with the new hat today. Appreciate them for that. Go check out the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Free shipping any order over $40, or you can go in there in the Boise Town Square Mall. They got all the Ashton Genty NIL shirts, Tyson Degenhart sweatshirts, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, you name it, there at the Blue and Orange Store. All right, Mike Prater, we got about 5 minutes here till Leon Rice joins us, but I wanted to plug your column. Folks can go right now, if you're a paying subscriber, to Bronco Nation News and read that column. Not to give the whole thing away, but, a lot of craziness right now in college football, Mike Prater. You got coaches leaving for the NFL. You got college coaches that are head coaches leaving to be coordinators. The NIL is going crazy, the transfer portal. And yet Spencer Danielson seems to be saying, bring it on to all of it. And that's kind of what your focus was in your column today.
College football is so stinking weird, BJ. It seems like every 6 weeks there's a new problem that crops up, and we don't even see it coming. It just kind of hits us in the face. And this offseason, one of the big storylines, as most people know, and as you pointed out there, is that coaches are bailing. They're tired of the nonsense. They're tired of babysitting kids. They're tired of recruiting the same players 17 times in terms of roster retention. It's just a pain in the butt. So, yeah, I mean, all this coaching move, the Chip Kellys and the Boston College coach and the other coaches that are out there, the Harbaughs and the Sabans, and everybody's just kind of like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? And I can go find quality of life and make a lot of money somewhere else. Well, Spencer Danielson doesn't even think like that. Spencer Danielson wakes up every morning and says, bring on the challenges, and he handles them pretty well. Even with the Bush Hamden thing, caught him off guard, and he admitted it. One thing I love about Spencer Danielson, he's fresh. And Coach Avalo spoke with a lot of coach speak. He spoke in a lot of generalities. He didn't really answer questions directly. We asked Spencer Danielson the other day, did the Bush Hamden departure catch you off guard? And he said, yes, it caught me off guard. But what do? I roll up my sleeves and I go to work. I deal with it. And I think he has this ho-hum approach. It's like, I can handle it. So I don't think he's intimidated by the daunting task of college football today. I called it kind of like puppy dog cute and a little bit naive in terms of just the freshness of a young rookie head football coach trying to do his thing. And I think it's a thing of beauty. So college football has its problems. Boise State football has its problems. The coaching situation certainly is not one of those problems right now.
And we'll find out what happens with the offensive coordinator. No rumblings there yet or decisions. But, we've talked about this a little, Mike. But, I mean, you were one of the ones from the start kind of saying maybe, Spencer Danielson would be fine, but I'd rather maybe see him go outside the family or get somebody different. And I don't know if it was a Spencer Danielson thing as much as just trying to go outside and get some new blood. And you maybe weren't the most vocal, I guess, in terms of saying Spencer Danielson should get this job. With that said, we'll see what happens with the offensive coordinator search. But to this point, 3 months later, I mean, could Spencer Danielson be doing anything more to win over some of his critics?
No, I think he's had the perfect offseason. I really, truly do think he's had the perfect offseason. I mean, it's not his fault that Bush Hamdan left. By the way, Bush Hamdan was replacing a coach who bailed on college football and went to the NFL. So one more classic example of these coaches bailing for the NFL and not having to deal with college football nonsense. So that trickle-down effect directly impacted Boise State football. But yeah, I think Spencer has handled this perfectly. So let's see what he does with the offensive coordinator position. When we had him on Idaho Sports Talk last week, he scared me a little bit. He scares me here. So it's kind of funny because, yes, when the Spencer Danielson position came up, I wanted an outside the family hire, just fresh blood. That's no big deal there. Eventually, Spencer Danielson proved that he had to be the coach for this team, and I agreed with that. Now, all of a sudden, he's talking about Matt Miller and Nate Potter as potential offensive coordinators. He mentioned both as, he's going to look at both of them. I forget that Nate Potter this offseason is given a title of co-offensive coordinator. Matt Miller's done it a little bit in the background. I need Spencer Danielson to go outside the family for this one. Absolutely. Matt Miller, we love. He's a great coach, but he's not a quarterback developer, which to me is job number one. Nate Potter's not a quarterback developer. That's job number one here. So hopefully that he goes off and finds, whether it's a friend of the show and Mike Sanford, somebody who's worked with quarterbacks, developed quarterbacks, can work with quarterbacks Monday through Friday. I think the rest of it can work out itself.
We can keep this discussion going in a minute, Mike, but before Leon joins in, I want to make sure we get our other quick sponsor mentions in here. So Lithia Ford of Boise, and again, Leon Rice going to join us shortly, but LithiaFordBoise.com, check them out, view that full inventory of vehicles, and you can do what the Raines family did. You check a couple online, you go in there, you find the one you want, you test drive it, and you're on your way there in a couple of hours. And again, they have 5 NIL deals at Lithia Ford of Boise, so they're supporting Boise State, they're supporting the local community. Return the favor for your next vehicle at LithiaFordBoise.com. You need a new job? Taco Bell is hiring. The Treasure Valley Taco Bell stores. You can get more information at TacoBellWorks.com. And how about this? You need some quick cash. You don't want to wait 3 weeks for that first paycheck. They're offering up to half your wages the very next day after your shift. So check them out. TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. They do a ton for donating to student-athlete scholarships and things at Boise State. So check them out. Go get some food at Taco Bell and support them. And again, more information, TacoBellWorks.com. I mentioned the Blue and Orange Store. They got all kinds of great deals going on right now. The blueandorangestore.com. Free shipping, again, any order over $40. And if you're in the Boise area, just go to the Boise Town Square Mall. They're on the second floor. The best selection of Boise State gear in the Valley is at the Blue and Orange Store. And if you need a job, check out Transportation Compliance Service. You thought about getting in the trucking industry, maybe it's kind of a booming industry right now. They can help you with all the permits and things. More than 75 people that try to get into the trucking industry by themselves end up going out of business. So the DOT, overweight permits, all that fun stuff. Let the professionals handle it for you at Transportation Compliance Service. And our friends at Lean Feast, Mike Prater, weighed in. I'm down 16 pounds since January 8th. Put on the football 15, then the holiday 15. So we're trying to get in shape for the pool party here coming up in a couple of weeks down there in Las Vegas. Make sure you check out leanfeastmeridian.com. Healthy meal prep, great food, great options, and it's going to be we appreciate Lean Feast and leanfeast.com. And as we said, Mike, we'll be there 3 weeks from Friday, believe it or not. Circa Resort and Casino Stadium Swim, the Mountain West tournament. Will be there for the semifinal Friday edition. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be out there all day at the pool party, KTIK and Bronco Nation News. Super excited. We'll be out there all day. Hopefully Boise State playing in the semifinals. We'll have fun. All Boise State fans are welcome. You don't have to be a subscriber. You get free entry as well if you just email us at rains@bronconationnews.com, and we'll have all the Big 12, SEC, Big 10 conference quarterfinals on that day. Food, drink, going to be a lot of fun getting you set for the semifinals of the Mountain West tournament. And a team hopefully playing in that Mountain West tournament is your Boise State Broncos. The semifinals and the finals of that Mountain West tournament is your Boise State Broncos, Mike. And joining his two favorite media members in town. We're happy to bring on the head coach here, Leon Rice. Coach Rice, we appreciate your time on Bronco Nation News here. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
We're doing good. How many presidents can you name?
Oh, I bet if I went backwards, I could go a long, long ways. I was a history minor, so I appreciate all that stuff. And I watch Jeopardy now and then, so you got to have all those presidents memorized.
We had a song they taught us back in the day in school, and we were trying to find it on YouTube for my kids this morning, where you help you learn all the names and stuff. But
that's pretty good. I didn't even, I didn't actually. We're just in the season. I don't even know what goes on around me. It's terrible. And I drove up this morning, and I'm like, what's going on today? Is it Sunday, or where are all the cars? I kind of lost track that it was.
You just can't miss your wife's birthday. That's the one big day, and your anniversary probably are the main two, right?
Ooh, yeah, that's anniversary used to come during a recruiting period, so I missed that pretty consistently. That's not good.
Happy President's Day, and we appreciate you giving us some time to pop on today. Still a work day for you and for us here at BNN, and obviously a big game tomorrow night. But Coach, the balance you had in that game the other day, coming off the bye, and just the focus it looked like you guys had, the energy you guys had. I mean, you couldn't have scripted it up much better. It seemed like there against Fresno.
Yeah, no. When we looked at the film, I was like, wow. One of the things that jumped out at me is, had we not played well, I thought Fresno was playing really well. They're with that new lineup they were using, that sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, and they were playing 5 guards and became slippery to guard, and they got some shot makers on there. So, when you looked at the film, you're like, God, they were playing pretty good. If we wouldn't have played well, we would have been in some big trouble.
You mentioned.
Leon, I wanted to.
Go ahead, Prater. Sorry.
Well, sorry, I didn't know what. First of all, I apologize. You're stuck with me on a Monday morning. That's a horrible way to begin the work week. But I'll try to behave and try to be nice. And I'm at this point, I'm really enamored with what's going on with Tyson. And he's probably playing one of his best 4 or 5 game stretches of his entire career. And that's saying something based on his career. But at one point, was there a conversation, or did you just look him in the eye and it's like, okay, he's got the game face on, and you could see something click about 2 weeks ago? Did anything click? Did you guys talk about anything, or did this just kind of happen organically?
Yeah, I think it happened more organically. And with Tyson, when you have a guy like Tyson, the worst thing you can do, and we're victims of it, because he's so together. You never worry about him. So as a head coach, a big part of my job is to sit down, watch film with guys, try to, keep their minds right, keep them improving. And Tyson gets overlooked because you always just think and assume he's in a great place. You assume he's doing all that. And so maybe you don't do a good enough job mentoring and bringing him along. But that's where, having veteran assistant coaches and guys that have all been together. I think my assistants have done a great job with Tyson and spending time with him and getting his mind right, because, man, is it ever right? He's heading in the right direction always. And, it's not something you ever want to take for granted. And it's great that people appreciate it, because, it's like a lineup card. You pencil it in and go, okay, here's what we're going to get from Tyson every night. I got to worry about those other guys, make sure we're getting that from them. And what a great thing for a coach to have is that, like when you start doubting, I wonder if we're going to be okay tonight. Well, we got Tyson. We'll be all right.
You mentioned the other day, and I guess Tyson mentioned it too, that you guys did kind of talk about where you stood, with a couple weeks left, but you said, hey, and look at it now, enjoy it, whatever, but it doesn't matter if we don't take care of business. None of this other scoreboard watching or stuff is going to matter. But as a college basketball fan, as a junkie, it's what you've done your entire life to be, less than 4 weeks from Selection Sunday now, and have all these games of importance coming down the line, and just the excitement level. I mean, even to get up and talk about it, it gets me more exciting on a Monday morning, knowing kind of what's ahead. I mean, just what's the feeling like as a coach, as a player, that someone's in the thick of this right now, a conference race, trying to get to March Madness? I mean, it's got to be the best time of your year.
Well, first of all, number one, I appreciate it for, like you said, for our fan base, for the community. I mean, it's exciting. You want to be involved in this hunt, and it's a hard time of year if you're not, I think. And it's an exciting time if you are, and the buzz is out there, and you saw that our stadium had that feel for it. And, that's a great crowd on a Saturday night in front of, with a team that wasn't in the top. It used to be that, the fans would come out for, a top 25 team, but they wouldn't come out for Air Force or Fresno or maybe, whoever. But
11,600.
yeah, I mean, it was a great crowd and a great atmosphere, and they saw a good college basketball game, and but they came for the Broncos, and that's a exciting thing, and they came for appreciation of this team, and that they understand we don't have many left here, and so I hope that's the case tomorrow night, because it's a little later, and we've been fortunate. We haven't had any of these late home games. This is the first maybe weeknight late home game we've had. And so, but we need a big crowd. This, you saw us against San Jose the first time. It was a grind, and we had to come back to win. I mean, they're a explosive team, and they're so much better in their record. I know that's a cliche, but they just they've had a bunch of games like you saw with us where they led. They've had 2 of those against Wyoming where it came down to the final minute, and they lost both of them. I mean, they're right there. They're a really good team, well coached, and they got some great players.
And I still think, Leon, I know you kind of scoffed at the time. That was a little too big at the time, but I still think that was a very, again, season savings, too big of a word, but I think that was a key critical second half for you to come back and win that game against San Jose, to be down 9 with 10 minutes left and to have to battle back and win that game. I mean, that's certainly not the way you would have wanted to start conference play. I think we may look back, and we are now looking back, but certainly a month or two from now, and say that final 10 minutes where you pulled out that 9-point deficit could have really changed the course of your season.
No doubt. And you look at that. Yeah. 9-point deficit. I wouldn't want to go back and do that again. That's because you look at that too. And that maybe that momentum carries over to the Nevada game. You go get the win there, or to Colorado State. I mean, those kind of things, it's a fine line. And to win those games, it's, that's the difference between good years and great years. And those are hard to do.
Coach, BJ and I were talking earlier in the show about winning a conference championship in the regular season. And for you, is it more important? And it probably goes hand in hand. So it might be a dumb question, but you're used to dumb questions from Prater. But is it more important for you to win a conference regular season title, or to make sure that this basketball team is in the perfect shape going into the tournament?
It's got to be both. It's got to be both. And then as your program evolves, that becomes more, it probably is the first one when you're building the program, because you just gotta, if that can be your goal, then the rest is the cherry on top of an ice cream, and you just go let it rip. But as the program evolves, it's got to be both. And it's funny because this goes way back for me. We, at Gonzaga, we were winning the league. Well, we would go play Duke and Madison Square Garden or Carolina and New York, all these things that we would go do. And then you'd get back and you're like, okay, league starting, you get to go play at San Francisco. And so we really had to change our mindset, because we felt that as coaches, we're like, oh, that's, kind of a buzzkill. You don't want to, let's go play these national games, not these conference games. So I actually talked to Gergovich. He was Tark's assistant at UNLV about it. And I was like, how did you guys do it? Remember, they were in the Big West. They won a national championship when they were in the Big West. Think about that. So they're the only comparable thing that you could find in sports. And so, the thing that he really that talked to me about, that I changed my whole mindset. He was like, we always made winning the league the most important thing. And, when you get to the tournament, you're going to, you're not going to have a letdown. You're going to play hard. You don't have to change a lot for that, but they got obsessed with winning the league and made it the most important thing. So it became the most important thing for the program. And that's what we did at Gonzaga. So we never lost sight of that. We moved all the league trophies, not the NCAA tournament stuff, into the locker room. We made it our focal point. We really got our minds right on that. We made it an obsession to beat St. Mary's, to beat, and so it wasn't because if it was a bigger deal to those teams we were playing than it was to us, we weren't going to win. And so I guess that carried over to me through all these years, is that is so important. And you know what? It's a true judge of a program is how they do in their league. Because usually in league, you're playing against people in your tax bracket and things like that. But so I think it is a great job. And it's old school. It's fun to compete for championships and be able to do that. And then, there's nothing different you have to do for an NCAA tournament or to prepare for it. Now, you want your guys fresh, excited, ready to go, no injuries, all those things. And then it's a little, I've gone through this, like I said, it's a little bit just getting a break here or there in who you draw, where you go, and all those things. And the more times you can get to the tournament, the more that evens out. I've told this story before too. This whole Gonzaga run started by Minnesota getting in that academic scandal and having 4 players suspended. Gonzaga gets its first win in school history, and then the rest was history. It just kind of takes off. And so, we've had some crazy draws in the NCAA tournament, like being the last team to ever play a true road game in the NCAA tournament. So, that stuff evens out if you can get back there enough, keep knocking on the door. And then that's really how that can happen. Not just, you can do everything right. And then it's like, like one year at Gonzaga, we were 29-2. Our 2 losses were to the number 1 and number 2 team in the country, Stanford and St. Joe's. How about that? And, back then there wasn't the complicated net and all these more analytic stuff. And how about that? I think we were 6th ranked in the country. We got a 6th seed, a 6. And we had to go play Wyoming in Albuquerque, a place that they've played at altitude. So you're playing Wyoming at altitude. We were the number 1 rebounding team in the country. They were number 2. So it kind of nullified our advantage. And so you get a draw like that and you're like, this could not be worse, and on so many levels. And sure enough, we lost. And, so it just goes to show you the examples there are the draws matter, the matchups matter. And it's just sometimes different teams are different matchups. So that's all things you can't control. The only thing you can control to make it better is to keep getting a better seed, keep getting a better seed. And then, those numbers work out. So you can't worry about that. You can't do, that's why competing for a championship is the good focus, because it makes you better. I mean, you have to be a good team to compete for a championship, especially in this league.
Couple more quick ones, Coach. We'll get you out of here. And we were talking earlier with Spencer Danielson kind of embracing this chaos, in terms of the transfer portal and all this stuff going on. And you see way more in football, but a lot of these coaches leaving head coaches to be assistant coaches and jump into the NFL because they don't want to deal with NIL and transfer portal and all this. And I saw somebody on Twitter say for the basketball teams this year, you look at it, everyone's talking about the transfer portal, but the coaches that were able with roster retention to keep some key guys and keep that continuity are a lot of the teams like yourselves in a lot of ways that have a lot of key guys back and veterans and are having success. How do you, I know football and basketball are a lot different in a lot of this stuff we're talking about, but what do you make just of the chaos of college athletics right now and how you're trying to manage this? And I know when you were a younger coach coming up, never in a million years would you've been thinking you're dealing with what you're dealing about on a daily basis as a coach. And so what's just it like for you as a coach, I guess, dealing with transfer portal, NIL, all this other stuff, and just the craziness of it all right now?
Yeah, I wrote it on our board. I wrote it on our AD's board. It's not the strongest or the fastest that survive. It's the ones that evolve. And so we had to wrap our minds around it. When this all started happening, I talked to Durian Burns and was like, listen, this isn't the business we got into. And if we don't evolve, we need to get out. And that's it. And you can't sit around and complain about it. It's just the way it is. And that's in every business. So we've done a good job of that. Not just, I'm talking about basketball, but this athletic department with the leadership of Jeremiah and those guys we've been kind of 6 months ahead of things a little bit in NIL and, portal stuff. And we just got to fight to do that because it changes so quickly. what we were doing 6 months ago isn't good enough. And we got to keep finding new ways to do it, keep being creative, wake up every day and fight that fight. In the old days, you say, well, if you didn't, recruiting is like shaving. If you don't do it every day, you're a bum. Well, NIL's that. And if we're not finding more ways to retain these guys and not just think, oh, well, they love it here, we don't take advantage of loyalty. That's not fair. You don't do that. You shouldn't do that with coaches. You shouldn't do that with administrators. I mean, people leave for jobs for just more money. So don't think, well, these kids should stay here out of loyalty. Yeah, our loyalty is important, and our culture makes it so people will want to stay here. And so we don't have to maybe match dollar for dollar on every situation, but we have great opportunity. We have great culture. We have those things keep kids here, but we never want to take advantage of that. And that's, we talk about that, not just, like I said, as a basketball team, but as a department. And that's the way you got to approach it. But it's it's what keeps you up at night. It's a never ending fight. And, we've got a great community. We have unique things here that of people that can help us with this. And we're ahead of the curve in a lot of ways, especially, like I said, teams in our tax bracket aren't doing what we're doing, not even close.
Leon, I don't know, BJ, if you got to get on to our next guest, but real quick question for you, Leon.
Depends who's the next guest.
It's a surprise. We'll get to it in 1 second. You will in about 90 seconds here. Hold on a second.
Okay. But yeah, I do got to go because I'm interviewing for the offensive coordinator job too. So Spencer's probably waiting for me. Go ahead. What's the question? Sorry, Mike.
No, it's all good. We're having fun on a Monday morning. When you first became a head coach, like Spencer Danielson is right now, what's the best piece of advice you got?
I think the best piece, maybe it wasn't advice, but just by able to watch guys and what made them good, is to be yourself. You have to do what and trust yourself and be authentic and not try to coach like somebody else or not try to think, well, this guy did it this way and this is the tradition here, I got to do this. I mean, you take the best pieces that you've seen over the years, but you have to do it your way and you have to fight for that on the daily basis. Like, no, this is the vision I had. This is what I want it to look like. I want it to look like that. I'm going to fight for that. And, you get all kinds of different opinions and you got all these different assistants that want to do it this way. And if you're not fighting for the way you want it to look, then you won't be as good as you can be. And I think that was probably the best thing that I got better at that as I got older, more experience. I realized like that is the most important thing. This is what it has to look like. I have to fight for it. I don't care what this guy wants it to look like or that guy wants it to look like or what you think. I'm going to fight for what I want it to look like.
Leon, we read your words, but on the final thing, I wanted to give you a chance just to mention it one more time. We talked about the story with Chris Chambers, and they thankfully a CBS Sports Network, they put it on the broadcast there and told the story. And I know I've heard from several people, I mean more than 10, that have said they've donated to the fund after hearing about this. But I wanted to say thank you, I guess, for allowing this story to go public and for what you guys were doing for him and his family. But I wanted to give you kind of the final word here for people to hear it in your words and hopefully still want to go donate to the fund.
Yeah, I mean, BJ, you did I don't give you guys very many compliments, but you did a tremendous job writing that article. It was like old school reporting and in depth and tied it all together. It was impressive. And, we just felt like it's just not something you just move on from. And we wanted to help in any way we could. I saw somebody, I love the way they said it, like, thank you for boosting this signal. I mean, I've gotten so many texts from people that I know that want to donate and want to help this family. And that's the way it should be. You can't, this day and age, there's just so much stuff that goes on that you see a story like that and you move on and like, oh, that's sad, move on. It deserved more than that. And this family deserved more than that on both ends. Like I said, with the parents and the his young family. And so we wanted to try to help to do anything we could. And that's why we wanted to be public. Usually, our things, we try to keep that service stuff, that's in our maxims. It says we don't seek credit and we don't want to do it out, do it for that reason. But we knew that by you doing the story and us telling our story about it, it would really, really help. And I think it has accomplished the mission in that stuff, and we need to keep going on it. I mean, it's a pretty remarkable thing what people are willing to do. That takes service to another level of what this young man did for his country and for all of us. And so for us to try in a small way to give back, it's the least we can do.
Well, there is a link there available on the story at BroncoNationNews.com. Hopefully folks will go on there and subscribe and read that article and go ahead and donate to the fund. And Coach, go ahead.
I got to say one other thing about it, and it's pretty special. It doesn't surprise me with, student athletes. These guys are student athletes. They contributed, and they contributed generously. And when people, a lot of old school people always hated, like, oh, the NIL, what are we doing paying athletes? Well, think about what they're doing with their money. That's pretty impressive. And, these guys never cease to amaze me and impress me. This is one of the most impressive things. And, whether it's a small thing or not or whatever, but those guys did it with a willing and giving heart. And that makes you proud.
Well, Coach, Bronco Nation News, a big part is the fans and getting everybody involved and feeling like they're part of it. I know one of your biggest fans wanted to jump on here and
oh yeah, a surprise guest. I like it.
Any final questions, Mr. Boucher, for Leon?
Boucher, you got any questions for me?
I'm just like, how did we get here? It's Bronco Nation is in love with Boise State basketball. And before you got here, I mean, I can count on one hand how many sold out games we had. And all I heard was, back in the 90s, the Big Sky days, it was sold out. Why can't you get crowds? And then I'd hear the excuses. I mean, some of the worst excuses. Well, games are on TV now. That's why we don't get crowds. Well, there's too many things to do in Boise now. In the 90s, there was nothing to do. But you know what? Bronco Nation has fallen in love. And maybe it helps that there's been 39, 40 coaches in the Mountain West come and go, and you've stayed there. And maybe it helps that Tyson Degenhart's getting out of the community and being a great person. Maybe it helps that BNN Nation News is spending a lot of money and going on the road to have that access. Maybe all these little things add up to a sold out place, against Fresno State that would have drawn 5,500.
Yeah, no doubt. And you hit it all on the head. And again, that was the vision I had when I came here, because number one, you had a great community, but it wasn't just going to be, like, hey, let's hire a new coach and everything will change. It's all those things. And you didn't mention the administration. That has to be pulled. Massive. It changes. It's a game changer. So all these things that you said matter, and it doesn't get clicked overnight. It doesn't get turned around overnight. And continuity is important. That's why, the continuity on my staff, my assistants, all those things. So we got to keep fighting for that. We got to retain these guys. We got to, keep things going in this direction and keep this momentum going and keep building on it, because you're either going one of two ways. You're elevating it or it's falling, and you got to fight for it daily. And that's what everyone's done. And, we want to keep building it and make it even. There's a lot more to be accomplished here.
Well, I know folks like Matt, too, are backing it up. They're putting their money where their mouth is and doing a lot to help the program as well. Coach, we know you got a busy day. We'll let you roll. We're going to talk to Matt for a little while and get his thoughts on the team here, and I'm sure you'll be eager later to hear his hard-hitting analysis about the team here.
One last question. If I get this offensive coordinator job, anything you'd like to see me do? Or
run the wishbone. Yeah.
No, I won't do that. No.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Okay,
Thanks.
see you guys.
Take care. There he is, Leon Rice. And Prater, we're going to let you roll as well. Any final words for Matt Boucher here?
I just want to tell Matt Boucher that I was right on Saturday, that Boise State was going to kick Fresno State's ass. You were a little worried as a fan, and just for like 3 seconds, I think I was a smarter basketball guy than you for the first time in my life.
You were right. I was wrong. For the record, Prater was right. I get like I'm like a fan. I'm like, God, every game we got to win, right? I have that, and I'm like, Fresno's won 3 out of their last 4 games. They can shoot it. They're going to spread us out. They have nothing to lose. You start playing all these storylines, and you were right. I was wrong. We killed them.
Which is what you're going to say about tomorrow's game too with San Jose.
Same thing.
Exactly.
Appreciate you, Prater.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a good President's Day, Prater. Hopefully, folks will go read his column. We appreciate Mike Prater for jumping on. Bousher, appreciate you. Kind of a juggling different guests and hosts and stuff. But when we got back, final word that Leon was coming on, I thought, we got to get you on there to joke around with Leon. And I mean, let's start there for a second, because for the back going 30 years or whatever since you played, since you grew up here. I mean, you've seen a lot of different coaches, teams come through here. I know you've become very close with Leon. You guys are neighbors. But just to see what he's done to build this program and to turn it into what we're talking about now, a team that's fighting for a regular season title for the third straight year, fighting the mix, getting to the NCAA tournament for the third straight year. I mean, you saw some dark days. You were part of some big days. You've seen both. I mean, to see where this program's at right now as an alum, as a booster, it's got to be a pretty cool feeling for you.
It's really, really cool. I was on a Boise State board meeting, and Leon would love to hear this. And the strategic ticket manager comes on and he goes, we have a problem. We've sold too many season tickets. We need more single game tickets available for, we're talking profit and how you price them and how all this goes. And I'm like, and I just sit there smiling, and I'm like, never in a million years did I think we'd have a problem that we've sold too many season tickets, because the excuses I used to hear is, the arena's too big. Why can't we have a place like the Kennel that holds 6,000? Can you imagine if the Extra Mile only holds 6,000 fans, how expensive tickets would be? Because 12,000 people would want 6,000 seats.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like a marriage. Bronco Nation and the program, whether it's football, basketball, whatever, it really is a marriage. There's ups, there's downs, but
yeah. You mentioned the crowd, man. 11,600 against Fresno.
And you know what? I think the coach just said it. And 8:30 on a Tuesday night, maybe it's not ideal, but the team deserves it. Babysitters, whatever we can do to get creative, we need to be there.
What do you make of what Tyson's done? 24 points against Fresno. He's been on fire lately.
On 9 shots.
Yeah. Career high 12 of 14 from the free throw line as well. He's getting to the paint.
He gets fouled. He takes his time. He's so patient. He's 1 in a million person. I told his grandparents who were at the game, they were able to come, who are the sweetest people. His parents are rock stars, obviously. And I just told him, I'm like, he is really 1 in a million, 1 in 10 million. He's just such a good person off the court. You never have to worry about him, about anything. He's so steady. And we can't take that for granted. Like, how rare that is to see a college athlete that's so mature, that always does the right thing, that's a good person, a great teammate. I can't say enough about Tyson. I mean, I could go on for 2 hours.
7 of the last 12 games, he's been over 20 points too. I mean, he's now being at that consistent level where you can just pencil him in for, around 20 and around 6 or 7 or 8 boards pretty much every game. And that's a nice place to start, knowing you can count on Tyson and then have what you're getting from the other guys as well.
Yeah, and it's hard to leave the other guys because, Max Buzo, Jason Roddy are shooting the ball extremely well.
Yep.
You spread the court, and if they come over to double team, it's a tip dunk Omar. So it's if he misses soft off the rim, sometimes it's just a pass to Omar. So they're tough right now, and it starts with Tyson. I mean, he's really taken that role that he wants, to be the guy who can, help facilitate and score. And I don't know if I'd want the ball in anybody else's hands in the conference with the game on the line.
18 points from the bench on Saturday as well. We talked about Cam Martin, I think, last time you were on, but he had 6 points, 6 rebounds, had 4 assists as well. We see you mentioned what Jace Whiting is doing. Meadow, RJ Keene had a nice bucket there. I mean, going down the stretch here, crunch time, tournament time, how important is it to continue to get production from the bench?
That's what I think is the most impressive thing of everything is no one's playing over 32 minutes, and you got 8-9 guys in the rotation who all look extremely comfortable. I mean, they don't come in like their confidence is shook, kind of like at the beginning of the year. They're coming in and they're being very, very productive. And you're right. Keene looked unbelievable. And obviously Jace and Cam have been rock solid, and Meadows looked really, really good. So, and Kobe, when he came in, he was ready to go after not playing for a while, which says a lot about a guy to be just ready and trying to get extra cardio because you're not running up and down as much in practices. These guys are having to do a lot of work out, away from the practice time to stay fit.
What's it like as a player, these games like tomorrow night's game, the one they just had? I know Wyoming's a little different because I think it's not going to be a trap game. I think people realize going up there how focused you got to be, how hard it is. But the Air Force game, like this 4-game stretch here, fans, everybody just assume that they're going to go 4-0, and frankly, they need to go 4-0 to do what they want to do. But what's that like as a player where you've had so many hard games and now you're in theoretically an easier part of your schedule, but yet the games matter just as much, and if you don't win one of these games, you're really hurting yourself. So what's it like as a player, I guess, to know what you have coming up too with Nevada, New Mexico, San Diego State to finish the season, but needing to take care of business in these games like tomorrow night?
Well, you'll notice the team won't be sluggish to start the game. They know the magnitude. I mean, it's a must win, right? And they treat every game like that. So you don't really have looking beyond it because they know every game they got to win. And they take it that way. I mean, you could see the urgency from the beginning of the tip. I mean, they go right inside and attack. I mean, first play of the game, right inside to Omar, he attacks the rim. I mean, it wasn't going to be settled for a jumper. It was, we're getting it straight inside, and I think it'll be similar San Jose. We're going to take it straight to them. You know, we got lucky in that game, and I'll say lucky because we were down double digits with 9 minutes left on the road, and we weren't going to have any energy from the crowd because it was dead. So that was a big win that I'm sure San Jose remembers.
I'm going to put the Mountain West standings up here on the screen while I ask you this question, but just what do you make right now of the league race? Utah State, San Diego State play tomorrow night, and then New Mexico and Colorado State play on Wednesday. So you got 4 of the top 5 teams playing each other while Boise State plays the 10th place team. Just what's your take on right now in the loss column? Boise State tied for first here.
I love it. And, you know, somebody's San Diego and Utah State, I probably would lean towards Utah State at home tomorrow night in that game. But, you know, we win tomorrow, we're in sole possession of second place, no matter what.
And if San Diego State were to win, Boise State's in first with a tiebreaker over San Diego State since they beat them.
I guess, I mean, it's hard when I'm watching the games. I'm like, who are we supposed to be cheering for? Because the numbers are so – so I guess you don't want Fresno, San Jose, or Air Force to really – to win. Well, I mean, it's for the net. It's hard to even know who you want to win. There's 7 teams right there.
And like Utah State right there is number 30 exactly. I know Boise State lost, but that's a quad 1 loss right now. But if they lose tomorrow, then all of a sudden that drops to a quad 2 loss. And every game it's different. But how do you see this shaking out here down the stretch? I mean, that 16, you still think the 6-bid Mountain West is alive and well here?
I've said this on your show from day one. You can replay the tape. 13-5 wins the conference. So I still think 13-5 wins the conference. Utah State doesn't really have a tough road game left. They have New Mexico at home and they have San Diego State at home, but their road games, I want to say, are the bottom of the league.
Yep, that's why I think tomorrow night you got to be pulling for San Diego State.
Yep, and then New Mexico at Utah State would be another one. I think Utah State might lose one of those games at home, but they're going to run the table besides that. Utah State will finish 13-5.
All right, Utah State, I'm going to put they got 5 games left. You mentioned San Diego State, Air Force, New Mexico at home. They're at Fresno, at San Jose. So, I do probably agree with you on that. But in terms of the conference race, though, Matt, I mean, in this conference tournament, like, I think there's a huge advantage to actually get that 1 seed if possible, because then you're playing, the 8-9 is Wyoming, Fresno, whatever. If you're the 2 seed, your reward for the 2 seed is having to play one of these top teams or UNLV on their home floor. I can't remember a time where there was such a big difference. And maybe after one, if you don't get number 1, 2 versus 7 might not really matter. All these teams are good, and it's going to kind of be based on matchups here.
Yeah, I would agree with you. If you don't get the 1 seed, 2, 3, 4, 5, y'all get that first day bye. But the tough thing is the teams who are 6 through 11, they're going to have a grind of a game on Wednesday, but then they're a little more comfortable coming on the court. They've already shot in the Thomas and Mack. They've already played in it. They're a little looser. They don't have that first 5-minute jitters, and it's scary. So you really, really, really want the 1 seed this year more than any other year.
And I do. Boise State's fell victim to that. They've been that 3 seed a couple times and had to play a good 6 team who played the 11 the first day and had an easy win and got confidence and came in and made 15 threes or whatever. I can remember Utah State with Sam Merrill doing that. I think that was the Tim Duryea-led Utah State team that did that one time, and I can remember a couple games like that. So you don't want to have to play 4 games in 4 days. You don't want to have to do that, but it makes it a scarier game in that. Where it impacts you more is the semifinal game. That quarterfinal game, that team that played the first day is still not tired yet. They're still rolling. You certainly do want to finish, I guess, in one of the top 5. But I guess final thing, Matt, and we appreciate your time, man, on a President's Day work day here for us. But appreciate you coming on, and I hope folks do use Bauscher Real Estate for all their real estate needs if they're looking to buy or sell. You and your team are ready to help them out. BauscherRealEstate.com. The logo's there at the bottom. But I guess just final thing, how do you? I mean, you said you think 13-5 wins the league. You see the schedule Boise State has left. These 3 kind of winnable games here. Then you have New Mexico and Nevada, but they're both at home. I mean, in a perfect world, they win these next, I guess it's 5 and almost go into San Diego with house money, maybe even already have a share, of the title already clinched. And maybe on senior night, if you clinch a share, you go ahead and have a great senior night and cut down the nets and have a memorable thing and then take your chances at the 1 seed against San Diego State. But how do you feel about how they're playing now? They had the losses last week. They get the big win against Fresno. We mentioned the schedule, but how do you just kind of big picture as we wrap this up, look at where they are and how you think they could finish up here?
I don't think we have a flaw right now in the team. I mean, I know we were picking on some flaws earlier in the year, but they've ironed those out. And, those 2 road games are tough. I mean, you saw what Utah State just did when they went to Colorado State. They got beat by over 20. So, I mean, road games are tough. Those 2 road games were tough, but I didn't expect us to go in there and trounce Colorado State or Utah State on the road. So right now, I think everybody's pretty happy with where we're sitting at 8-4.
Well, we appreciate it, Matt. What were you saying, or what was Max saying? I know you're sitting with Brock there, but everybody noticed there was a couple of comments after the big 3 that Max hit right in front of you and Brock. Looked like there was some back and forth there.
Yeah, we were saying, why is he being? We were like, Max, do something. You're a little passive. And he said, Duchelle, he won't leave me. And Duchelle looks over at us. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's like, I'm not leaving you all game. Like, no matter what, I'm going to be attached to you. Next time down, Max catches it, lets it go, and it didn't even nick the rim. I mean, it just splashed. I'm like, hey, I get like half of a point for that 3-pointer. Me or Brock do.
Oh, you deserve a lot of the points here for this with your passion and energy. We love it, man. Hey, we appreciate you. One of the biggest supporters we have at BNN, man. I always say it, but truly do appreciate it. And there's a lot of folks. Everybody has a friend that's a realtor. I know everybody has options, but hopefully folks will consider using you and your team there, BoucherRealEstate.com. And we appreciate it. We'll see you at the game tomorrow night, and down the stretch here should be a lot of fun, man.
Thanks a lot, BJ. Really appreciate it.
There he is, Matt Boucher. We appreciate his time as always for jumping on, and he waited for a while till we got to Leon, so we appreciate Matt for jumping on, and great dude, great guy, and as I said, hopefully you'll support him, and he's putting his money where his mouth is, both with BNN and with Boise State, so please support Boucher Real Estate if you get a chance. BoucherRealEstate.com is the website, and his team is ready to help you buy and sell, and any of your real estate needs, renting, they'll help you out with whatever you need. BoucherRealEstate.com. Hey, do you want to throw in another plug for our pool party? We hope you can join us. We're over an hour and 6 minutes here. We're setting a record on President's Day. We got nothing else to do. Why not? Hope you're going to join us Friday, March 15th. We're trying to get you excited for basketball. And if you're thinking about coming down to the conference tournament, what else you got to do on Friday? After Boise State wins on Thursday, they won't play till 6 on Friday. Come on out to Circa Resort and Casino Stadium Swim. It's like a $40 cover charge, but it is free if you email us at rains@bronconationnews.com. It is a free cover charge. We're taking care of it for you. rains@bronconationnews.com. RSVP. We're going to have food and drink for some subscribers, some like light appetizers, and a couple, we'll buy you a beer too if you're a paying subscriber and you show up. Happy to have a good time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Prater and Johnny are going to be doing their show out there from the cabana. We're going to have a lot of giveaways, a raffle for some cool items, a lot of cool stuff. It's going to be a great time, and it's all free. So we're taking over one of the private pools at Circa Resort and Casino Stadium Swim. Again, 3 weeks from Friday, on Friday, March 15th. Crazy to believe 3 weeks from tomorrow, I'll be boarding the plane for Vegas for the conference tournament. So really excited about the pool party, and hope you'll make plans to join us. If you're still on the fence about going to Vegas, they got a few rooms left at Circa and the D, and I can get you 15% off. If you want to stay at Circa or the D, I can get you 15% off. Send me the email as well, rains@bronconationnews.com. We'll send you that link, and super excited to get down there and take over Circa Resort and Casino, the unofficial headquarters for Bronco. Well, the official headquarters for Bronco Nation News, and the official unofficial headquarters for you guys as fans, and should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to getting down there. Could be a memorable week, an epic week. This should be one of the best conference tournaments they've had in a long time, and can't wait to get down there and check it out. If we had 1,000 Bouchers, we would already have a national title. I second that with what he's putting donating. I mean, he helped get Chibuzo Abo. He put the you saw Chibuzo Abo had the logo of Boucher Real Estate on his commitment. I mean, they put the money in there and got him to commit, and he's done a lot of things behind the scenes, helping pay for charters and things. Matt Boucher is just a great dude and happy that he's a part of BNN. So Robbie Robinson thanking me for the Chambers article. Yeah, it was a great article, and appreciate Coach Rice and the program being open to letting it go public. And I'm glad that it was well received as it did. And again, you can go read it at BroncoNationNews.com and hopefully make a donation to that fund and help out the family there if you can. Bowser elevates the program. Grateful for him. I agree with you there, Jordan. Derek says one of his favorite BNN shows. Yeah, that was a back and forth, a lot of guests, a lot of fun. So I do appreciate everybody for jumping on. Nathaniel Wilder, the Foam Ranger, can't wait to be at the game tomorrow. So yeah, you know he'll be there. 8:30 start. That ain't going to keep the Foam Ranger away. So excited to see what happens here. Somebody wants Bowser for OC. We'll see what happens with that this week. Derek, appreciate you for donating to the fund. And hope everybody that gets a chance to do it, if you can, it would certainly help. Let's see here. Just win. We got a lot of great thoughts on and comments and things. So appreciate you guys. Fun show today. And it's always more fun when you guys are interacting and commenting, and truly appreciate it. Mike Prater's column on Spencer Danielson and the chaos in college football is up at BroncoNationNews.com. If you are a paying subscriber, you can read that. If you're on the fence, hopefully we helped convince you today. Daily shows every morning, pre- and post-game shows, exclusive columns and articles, and a daily email. We'd love to have you. Just $50 for a full year, one-time fee, BNN 50 deals, that promo code at BroncoNationNews.com. We'd love to have you jump in, help us out, subscribe. We're going to be on the road for like 5 days next week at Wyoming and Air Force, and all that travel expenses cost money and stuff. So truly appreciate those of you that have already supported us and subscribed. We'll continue to have subscriber giveaways and things. By the way, our winner, Roy Miller, is going to join us this week for the trip to San Diego. He lives in Idaho Falls, is a big BSU fan. I was happy. It sounds like we got lucky again, picking a good winner for the trip. So we'll get Roy Miller on this week, and we'll tell you more about him and his story and why he's a BSU fan. And he's going to be the winner going to San Diego for the final game of the regular season. So please subscribe on YouTube. Hit the like button there in the bottom of the screen. Turn on the notifications so you know whenever we go live. And if you're on Facebook or Twitter, we appreciate you, but we'd love for you to jump over and join our YouTube community. I think we're only about, 10 subscribers away from getting to 4,500. We're trying to push towards 5,000 if we can by the end of the spring game. So a lot of great content coming, and we can't do it without your support and without the support of all of our great advertisers. So thank you to RoePaint.com, our title sponsor, ROEPaint.com. All your painting needs, make sure you check out RoePaint.com. And I say it all the time, but there would not be a Bronco Nation News without RoePaint.com. So please support them. Residential, commercial, industrial, any of your painting needs, please check them out. And again, Cutwater Spirits, the Cutwater Studios, more than 35 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Have a great rest of your President's Day. We appreciate you. Again, Blue and Orange Store Monday. Appreciate Capital 11, the Blue and Orange Store. Check them out, theblueandorangestore.com. Epic show today. Appreciate our guests, Leon Rice, Mike Prater, Matt Bowser. Appreciate all your comments. And again, thanks to our advertisers. Thanks to our subscribers. Jay Tuss tonight, tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're hoping to get Tim Miles on as well, the San Jose State coach. So stay tuned for that. And have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you 9 a.m. tomorrow. Another big one for Boise State, San Jose State tomorrow. We'll have you covered. Bronco Nation News live here at BroncoNationNews.com.